Welcome back, guys and gals, to the Bitcoin 15. I am your host, Peter Beckstrand. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Peter Christensen. Before we get into it, remember to like, subscribe, comment on this video. Tell your friends, tell your family members who are probably our family members. Just remember to subscribe and get the alerts for every episode that comes out 2 o'clock Central on a Sunday. We have a couple headlines here that we'll go through. Look at the format, the good, the bad, and the interesting, as we like to say here at the Bitcoin 15. So let's just get into it. The good, Gonzo, couple big ones here. BlackRock CIO says that they are considering dabbling in Bitcoin. MicroStrategies may be buying another $1 billion of Bitcoin. Morgan Stanley proposed a $150 billion investment into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin high price unsustainable. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so on the BlackRock story, for those who don't know, I just learned this today. BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world. They're managing nearly $9 trillion in assets for their clients. So their version of dabbling will likely be in the billions, if not tens or hundreds of trillions of dollars. Not trillions, sorry, tens or hundreds of billions of dollars. So that
sounds cooler.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're only managing 9 trillion. So yeah, if their version of dabbling is huge. So to put that in perspective with the like MicroStrategy, we keep talking about them and how their strategy to buy up as much Bitcoin as possible. And here, one of the headlines is they're planning on buying another billion. They're currently holding about 4 billion, I believe. So that would bring them up to 5 billion. And Tesla bought 1.5 billion. Those are considered major whales in the space that cause price rises. And Morgan Stanley is saying they want to make a $150 billion bet. So we're talking orders of magnitude bigger. And I would think the BlackRock, since they didn't throw out a number, even though they didn't throw out a number, they've got to be on a similar scale to Morgan Stanley, if not larger. So all this, my interpretation of that is, if you think there's institutional money flowing in with MicroStrategy and Tesla, hold on for the ride. It's only this is only the beginning. And the JP Morgan story, they think the current price is unstable. They expect a pullback, which I could see small pullbacks. I mean, we're on this crazy bull run. We see it every step of the way. They'll pull back, but then they'll keep going up. They note that the market cap it's gone up $700 billion since September, with only about $11 billion of institutional money has flowed in, according to them, according to their records. That's what makes these BlackRock and Morgan Stanley stories all the more impactful to me, because it's going to be from a small trickle of institutional money coming in, 11 billion, to a fire hose in comparison. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars from the institutional money. So that's my roundup on the good headlines.
Yeah, that's great insight. I think the one I really didn't mention, but the Tesla's big $1.5 billion buy using Coinbase. I was like, what was the fee on that, man? Coinbase freaks you over the coals when you buy something. But in that article, they also talk about, what was it, one of five? There are 5 other Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies on the that they work with. They didn't really name them, that are holding Bitcoin, or maybe just interested to go back and reread it. It'll be, of course, in the comments below. But yeah, all tying into that unsustainable high price. But is it unsustainable? I don't know. Maybe the rise is unsustainable, but if the money stays in there, how does it not stay high?
Yeah, and I mean, if no one else, MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor will buy it all up. If his strategy is working for him so far, and if I don't know, and people are holding, or I should say hodling, as much as possible. There's less and less out there on exchanges. I'm even wondering, can Morgan Stanley even buy that full 150 billion they want to invest? Is there even that much out there? The market cap is, as we're going to cover later, now 1 trillion. So that's a lot, but 150 billion, that's a really big chunk of 1 trillion. That's 15%. And they're not the only ones that are out there holding on to it. So I think maybe we should transition to the one story that we're kind of calling bad. We, per usual, put our spin on it. But anyhow, a story out of China is there. China is kind of notorious at this point for trying to ban Bitcoin. And I know they've shut down some mining operations, but the headline here is that they have been experimenting with a digital form of their currency, the yuan. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I was hoping you would, because I said the same thing. How do I say this?
I know. I think that's what the money itself is called renminbi, but the piece of it is called a yuan or something. I don't know. On our B15 basics, I called it renminbi because I think that's their. Anyhow, getting off topic. the story here is that they are now experimenting more and more with their digital version of the yuan, and there are now they have ATMs that you can convert directly from the digital form to physical form, or vice versa. So we're saying it's bad. Well, I'll let you give the interpretation of why we're saying it's bad, but you and I both were talking about this, how we think that there will be many other countries trying this. I know India, we've talked on past episodes, part of why they're banning Bitcoin is they want to issue their own digital form of their currency. There's going to be a lot of other countries that try this sort of stuff to stay relevant. The central banks know they're losing power. We talked about it last week, but anyhow, what's your take on this story?
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the clip or not, but I just taking a look at it. It was very like, so what's the difference than what people do today? I mean, you can pay on your iPhone, you can pay, you can a one-click button with your finger on Amazon.
I had that same thought.
So that's where it's like, okay, cool. You can do the same thing you do today, but now they can track your fingerprints and they still hold the key. Like I think in China too, and for all of our Chinese viewers, please comment below if this is correct. China bots, it'd be very helpful right now. But I'm pretty sure they have an issued number. I think the government don't they issue phones for their citizens, and there's a number associated to it.
That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know that for a fact, and so that surprise me.
Kind of off the top of that's how they tracked even COVID vaccinations or COVID tracing, is because everybody has a unique identifier based on their phone number. So all I'm trying to say is they already have access. They already have government issued. Now they're having government issued bank accounts, basically, that it will all be tied to the finger. And then, it's very nice to the senior citizens in the country. We'll give you a hard wallet, so we can still have access to freeze your assets whenever we want. So it was a very to people that are in this world that we're in, I don't think it's almost like a throwaway, but to maybe the less informed crypto Bitcoin viewer that might be out there, they start thinking, oh, wow, well, why would I go to Bitcoin when the US government potentially in the future could just do this for me and I wouldn't even have to take on the risk, or maybe there'll be gains in the future with this type of technology. So yeah, from reading it, the bad would be the US sees this, Canada sees this, India sees this, Nigeria, which I think we last saw was people who are still buying the banned Bitcoin was still up like they're paying a premium of like almost 40%. Like it's even though it's banned, it's still being bought. But some of these other countries that quote unquote maybe are more developed or more established will try to mimic Bitcoin or mimic just other cryptos. And
issuing their own digital currencies, which, like we've covered last week, digital fiat is still fiat. For whatever reason, I was reminded of the line from Zoolander: "Do not be distracted by the beautiful celebrities. Do not be distracted by the digital fiats." Okay, they're not Bitcoin. They're not decentralized. Do not be distracted. Okay, so if you remember nothing else from this episode, think of Derek Zoolander.
Exactly.
Let's roll into our story of the week then. It's a big celebration for Bitcoiners, hodlers everywhere. We have surpassed the $1 trillion market cap milestone for Bitcoin. So we're pretty excited about that. I don't know if everyone if you're on Twitter and follow anyone who's in the Bitcoin world, they all have these goofy laser eyes in their, we just converted my personal Twitter account to the Bitcoin 15. Follow us at the Bitcoin 15
Can you put laser eyes on us for this for this meeting right now?
I wish we could. I wish that Zoom had that filter right now. We could have done the whole episode that way. We're new to this space, so we're not tech savvy enough. But maybe I'll figure out how to do Photoshop stuff and give us laser eyes and make a new thumbnail for this episode. It's the only way we'll get clicks, right? Yep. Anyhow, so that's obviously huge news. If you haven't heard of Plan B, he's an anonymous person on Twitter. And in this space, he writes his own blog too, and he uses models that he calls the stock to flow model. I won't get into the details of that, but he correctly predicted that after May 2020, in this halving cycle, we would hit the 55K mark, which we are now over 55K. I think we're sitting about 58 right now as we record this. And so that came true. He came out with 2 more models that were modified, that were even more aggressive on the price. So we'll see which one comes true by the end of this calendar year. We're thinking is about when in the halving cycles the prices usually spike. So we still have time yet in this year to hit either the 100K model or $288,000. Could still happen in this year according to his models. He's already proven that one of the models keeps coming true. Is one of his more advanced models going to come true instead? I don't know, but that's food for thought out there. Also food for thought, if you think you're too late to the game on this, I'm telling you, you're not. A simple Google search I just ran before this episode. How many people are holding Bitcoin in the world? What would you, without Googling it, what would you guess, Beckstrand?
I use Bing, but I
Sorry.
would. Are you talking just against the population?
Just worldwide, what percentage?
Oh man, 0.025.
Okay, so it's actually it's higher. It's at 1.3, but
I was gonna say 1.5, and then I thought that was too high for a second.
Of course, that's Google. Maybe Bing comes up with different results.
Probably.
Anyhow, I think if you're one of only 1.3% of the population, you're still a pretty early adopter, and that's just kind of what I think. Also, with that model, the price action has been pretty similar in each 4-year halving cycle. So if you think this bull run is crazy and you start to read into Plan B's stock to flow models, if you learn about and how accurate they've been at each halving cycle, take a look at what this thing's going to do in 4 years. And if you think you're too late to the game, do your own research on that. This is an entertainment show. This is not an investment advice, but I'm only saying this to encourage people if they think they're too late to the game. And you can use dollar cost averaging since it's a volatile asset, because we'll probably have some pullbacks from this number. We may dip below $1 trillion again, but we're just excited that we've hit $1 trillion. Anyhow, I'm hogging the time.
You're hoggling the time again.
I'm hoggling.
You're hoggling. Yeah, we can actually stay true to our name here. I won't take too much, but I think you're right. I think the Plan B, the STF model, either one. Whenever anybody has a question about Bitcoin, I say just look at this. If you really want to get into the weeds, you can read. This isn't just made out of thin air. They use these models for other, for gold, for silver. Like, this isn't a new technology. This has been working well over the last 12 years now. So if you have any questions of what it is today and what it could be and where we're at, take a look at that. And will we throw a link on there below that people can take a look at if they want?
Yeah, you know what? I'll share the link to his stock to flow article, like his latest one, so people know what we're talking about. And then
tweet it too, because then we can get people on. And then go to the Twitter, which will also be in the comments. But it's not like, quick question though. The 1.5, is that actually own one Bitcoin, or is it owns any kind of sats?
1.3% holds any Bitcoin at all, according to a quick search I did. I didn't dig deep into that number. I really doubt it's much higher than that if it's off. From anecdotally, who we know, just walking on, talking to friends and family. But so yeah, I'm not a statistician, but I believe it's the R-squared value is one of the ways they can measure accuracies of models. It's insanely accurate. it's obviously no model's perfect. It can't actually predict the future, but the model has been crazy accurate by statisticians, ways they measure models. So
yeah.
Anyhow, I think
I know we're over the 15 right now, so
okay, let's wrap then. So we'll wrap in the 15-minute mark somewhere, hopefully here, and we'll just one last reminder. Thanks for being with us. Please like the show. Please subscribe. Please tell friends and family who are interested in the topic about this show. And yeah, follow us on Twitter now at the Bitcoin 15.
All right, bull prediction. We're at 60 by next time we record. Bye, Mom.
See ya. Good night. Good night, Canada.